Hello, Kapha community. We're here with our friend Will. We invited him to talk to us about skincare. He's an Ayurvedic health specialist. So Will, we're glad to have you here.
Sorry.
And we want to get started with a quick review of the skin and its functions.
Okay, so from the Western allopathic perspective, you have the, as far as like the three layers of the skin, you have the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous layer, right? Also called the hypodermis layers of the skin, and how these various things affect our skin health in terms of even the quality, people's idea of beauty and so on and so forth. And each of these different layers has a different function in terms of what it produces for the skin, what we see externally, so even all the talk about like collagen, for example, that's pertaining to the dermal or the level of the dermis, for example, right, hair, skin, and nails and such. And then you have the hypodermis layer, which is where you have the impact of like the fat and the blood elements on the body, right, and then how that's going to affect the skin. So then after that, if we step outside of the Western perspective, which also, mind you, the skin predominantly being made of like generally like water, minerals, protein, and such, just to have a general idea of like what actually makes it like. And then you have like the Taoist perspective or like the TCM perspective, and how the lungs impact skin quality, right, and texture and so forth. So that would be another thing to look at when we're considering how well we want our skin to appear and how well we want it to be. What's the quality of our breathing? What's the quality of our lungs? How well are we taking in oxygen and spreading that throughout the system? You see?
Which makes a lot of sense because the skin it's a breathing, living thing. It's the biggest organ that we have. So
right.
It would make sense that the lungs have direct effect on the skin, with the skin needing oxygenation and so forth.
That's right. So, I mean, if you're somebody who, smokes a lot, for example, and so forth, we see how that affects people's appearance, you see?
Right.
And then there's the various things that there are to remediate that, right? So, and even in Taoist medicine too, you have how in the Yellow Emperor's Classic, they talk about how the skin is essentially the first layer of defense, for the body. So you want to make sure, things are going right, even on the most external layers, because once it gets past that, then things just start spreading and things just begin to develop within the body. So, and then you also have like the Ayurvedic perspective, for example, where you have how the skin essentially manifests differently depending on the three doshas, or in this context, I'll say three body types, right? So the Vata type, leaning more towards, like dryness, cracked skin, they're very veiny, even like darker patches sometimes, those are all like Vata indicative, and the Vata body type being one who's like naturally thin, to give like, again, kind of like a deep generalization. And then you have like the Pitta type, which tends more towards like the naturally oily, reddish, but also has like a natural luster. They may even seem to be like giving off light, due to how lustrous their skin can become, and how naturally oily they are, but then also issues with like boils, acne, and things of that nature. They're very prone to that, and even just like certain redness during like summertime, which is the season that would most naturally push them out of balance, So whereas for Vata, the season that would push them out of balance is like winter, for example. Or whereas for Pitta, it would be the summertime specifically, And then for the Kapha type, their skin is very thick, very kind of naturally moisturizing. They really don't require that much attention when it comes to moisturization and so forth.
So low maintenance.
Yeah, when it comes to them. I mean, if anything, when there's an imbalance, then their skin could appear more like soggy and such. Like that's how that's how much water, if you will, their skin will hold on to. So for them, it's really about like reduction. Okay. And then even since, and bringing that to mind, moisture and hydration, people should definitely know when you see something that says like hydration or hydrating, they're talking about the body's, or pertaining to the body's water loss. And then when they're talking about moisturization, they're talking about body's oil loss. So those are two definite things to definitely keep in mind.
Awesome. And what do you suggest in terms of diet?